Hey, dreamers, welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast. I'm Shayla Wey. I'm a small business coach, growth strategist, and believer that your dream life starts the moment you lead like you mean it. This podcast is all about leadership, fulfillment, and growth. And today we're diving into something I see all the time, not just with clients, but honestly, in my own journey too. And that's plateaus. And that's frustrating, those in between space where things feel stuck. You're not failing, but you're also not growing. It's not bad, but it's definitely not aligned with your potential. So today I'm going to break it down into why we get stuck, and more importantly, how do you break through when the growth has stalled? So if you've ever felt like you've hit a ceiling, you're not alone. This conversation is about getting you unstuck so you can step back into momentum, joy, and purpose in your life and business. And so before we jump in, if this episode lights a fire in you, I want to personally invite you to my free school community, the LFG Business Academy. Inside, you'll find my mini leadership series, which has tools to help you move from stuck to strategic, and a community of purpose-driven entrepreneurs just like you. So you can head to the link in the show notes or DM me on Instagram at Shayla Wey Coaching, and I will send it over to you. So let's talk about what to do when you feel like you've hit a wall. Well, the first thing is you've outgrown old habits. One of the biggest reasons that people plateau is because they're still operating from the habits that got them to their last level, not the next one. So what I found is that every new level of business requires a new level of discipline, boundaries, and mindset. So if you're still saying yes to everything, avoiding the hard conversations, or working without a clear plan, you're capping your growth. So breaking through starts with an audit. So what habits used to serve you, but now might be holding you back? Doing a bit of a reflection on that will be helpful to move forward and not be in this in-between space much longer. The second is your vision isn't big enough anymore. Now, this one surprises people because sometimes we plateau not because we're doing the wrong things, but because we stopped dreaming. So I found that when your vision is too small, it doesn't inspire action. So you stay in maintenance mode, you play it safe, where growth requires a vision that pulls you, that stretches you. So if you're not waking up excited or at least a little scared, you're not dreaming big enough. So take a moment and ask, what would the next bold move of growth in your business, in your role, in your leadership team look like for you? The third thing is you're trying to do it all alone. Now, I say this with love, but one of the most common plateau patterns is isolation. You're trying to do everything yourself. You're stuck in your head. You're not asking for help, hiring support, or even just surrounding yourself with people who challenge you. So what I have found is that momentum lives in connection. And when I have been stuck, the answer almost always came from a conversation, a mentor, or a community that helped me shift. So if you're in a place right now where you're doing it alone, you are doing it the hard way. So what are ways that you can start to get support so you don't feel that way? The fourth one is you haven't made a decision. I see this all the time. People say they want change, but they haven't actually decided. I call this decision fatigue a lot of times, is we have so many decisions that we have to make that sometimes we don't have clarity on exactly what that is. And then we just think about it all the time and we don't actually make any impact or take action. And that there's a huge difference between wanting something and deciding to actually go after it. So what I have found is that decision brings clarity. This is going to activate courage, and it helps you start showing up in alignment with the future that you want. So if you feel stuck, ask yourself, well, what decisions have I been avoiding? That answer might unlock everything. I'll often see on coaching calls one tiny little roadblock that needs a decision that then frees up so much space to allow them to take action to start getting the results and feel ignited again. Number 5 is you're focused on tactics, not identity. Sometimes the strategy isn't the problem, it's the identity behind the strategy. So I've worked with so many entrepreneurs who try to fix stagnation with more tactics. Maybe it's new funnels or new products, maybe even new social media platforms. But what I found is that the real breakthroughs happen when you start to shift your self-concept. So you have to become the person who leads the business that you say that you want. So the question here becomes, who do I need to be to get to the next level? Not just what do I need to do. More isn't always better. Is sometimes taking things off our plate and peeling back some layers of that clarity is who do I need to become to get to the next layer, to that the next level is often what can help us grow. The sixth one is avoiding the hard work. Let's be honest. Plateaus often show up when we're avoiding the things we know we need to do. That launcher kept putting off, or the team member maybe you need to let go, that uncomfortable price raise, the feedback that you sometimes don't want to hear. So what I found is that breakthroughs usually sit right behind the resistance. So if you're stuck, look for the place that you've been avoiding and just run toward it. Just tackle it. I can tell you time and time again that when I'm in these spaces, it's never fun. It doesn't feel great, but man, when I just go after that and tackle whatever it is that I feel I'm putting off, and I feel a lot lighter and the business takes that next level of growth. The seventh is you're measuring the wrong metrics. So sometimes you think you're stuck because you're measuring progress in the wrong way. So if you're only tracking revenue, for example, you'll miss out on momentum. If you're only watching followers, you're overlooking relationships. So what I found is that growth is often invisible at first. It's in the habits, the mindset shifts, the relationships, and the systems that you're building. So get really clear on the right indicators for your stage, and you might realize you're not stuck at all. You're just in the foundation phase. And I have had this happen with a lot of clients that have just needed some guidance on what do we track? Because what we track and what we are looking at that we have control over does give us the confidence to grow. And we're not just basing these decisions on feelings. And that's really part of the strategy of having metrics, but having the right metrics. Number 8 is you're not celebrating enough. Now, this might sound simple, but trust me, this matters. When we're so focused on what's next, we forget to anchor in what we've already done. And that lack of celebration can make you feel stuck even when you're actually progressing. So, what I have found is that celebration fuels momentum. It reminds you of who you are. So, take time to acknowledge what's working, what you've survived, and how far you come. I need these reminders myself from my own coach, but I also have to remind my clients a lot of times is let's look at all the progress that you've made. When we think back even to 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, these things weren't even in place. So although we want to always be striving for growing and being able to scale, it's important to always celebrate where we have come from. Number 9 is that you're not aligned anymore. And here's the deeper layer to this is sometimes you're stuck because you're climbing the wrong mountain. The business model, the client base, the offer, it might have made sense a year ago, but if it no longer feels aligned, your body and brain will start to resist. So what I have found is that alignment is everything. You don't need more motivation. You need more meaning. So ask yourself this question honestly. Am I building what I actually want? And if it's not aligned, how do we just restructure it so that it does feel more in alignment? Number 10 is you're due for a breakthrough, but you need to shake things up. Sometimes the plateau is your cue to innovate. You've mastered that current level, you've optimized the systems, but now it's time to get uncomfortable again. So, what I have found is that breakthroughs come when we get bold again. We try something new, we launch the thing, we speak up, we collaborate, we invest. So, shake the snow globe a little bit, treat yourself, trust yourself. That next chapter might surprise you. It's okay to switch up things in our business to find that next breakthrough. And here's the truth. Plateaus are normal. They are part of growth, but you don't have to stay there. Breaking through is about getting honest, getting aligned, and getting back into momentum, not by doing more, but by doing what actually matters. So if you're feeling stuck right now, know that you're not broken. You're just being invited to evolve to the next level. And if you want to go deeper, join me inside the LFG Business Academy on School. It's totally free. And you'll get access to my mini leadership series, real tools to help you lead through your plateau, a community that reminds you that you're not in this alone. And then head to the show notes or DM me on Instagram at Shayla Wey Coaching, and I'll send you a link. Because your dream life starts with the way you lead, the way you live, and the way you grow. I'm Shayla Wey, and I'll see you next time on your Dream Coach podcast.